To stuff or not to stuff? Is that really the question?
Hi, I'm Lena Shea, an Iowa mom. We're making stuffing today. Now technically, stuffing is not stuffing if you don't stuff it inside the bird, but I just call it stuffing because that's what people know what you're talking about. Just so you know, in case somebody gets upset with you, you can say, yes, I know it is dressing. The reason why I make it outside the bird is, number one, the bird will cook faster in the oven without the stuffing. Number two, the stuffing will be more crispy if you do it outside the bird. The bird, it's going to get really mushy, and maybe if you like it mushy, stuff it. If time is more of an issue than money, I buy the ready-made, unseasoned, toasted cubes of bread. But for 3 times less, I buy a whole loaf of the cheapest sandwich bread. I stack about 5 or 6 slices at a time and use a serrated knife, that's one that has the teeth, and I slice 1/2 inch about, and then turn it, slice it another 1/2 inch to make the cubes. I put them on an ungreased cookie sheet to dry. It takes about a day, but if I'm in a hurry, I can stick them in a 170-degree oven for about an hour to dry. Now to make the dressing. I use a 9 by 11 cake pan and grease it with a little cooking spray and fill it with our bread cubes. I cut up a 1/2 stalk of celery into chunks. I cut up 1/2 an onion and sauté it. The sauté is where it gets nice and brown, and that browning makes it sweet and makes it taste really good. It also helps people to be able to digest it better. I'm melting 1/2 cup of butter, which is 1 full stick. Now I can add my 1/2 celery, 1/2 onion to that. I'm going to check it every minute or two to make sure it doesn't burn. We're going to use about a tablespoon of parsley flakes. Parsley looks pretty, but it also adds a little flavor and nutrition. I use a teaspoon of poultry seasoning. It's a combination of various spices and it works very well for stuffing. I add a sprinkling of sage. It's already in the poultry seasoning, but I like a little bit more. Checking on my butter, and just know it is going to take a lot of time, but you do have to stay pretty diligent because you don't want it to burn. I'm using clean hands to mix the spices into the cubes, and I don't need to do very much because we're going to be mixing more when we add the butter sauce. You want it brown, you don't want it black, and you don't want it to be just translucent. You want it to actually have that nice brown on it. That is going to give this way extra flavor. I'm going to take this off the heat so that it can cool just a little bit before I pour it on. To moisten our dressing, we can buy chicken broth, or you can make turkey broth by using the neck, heart, gizzard in some water. Boil it for an hour. Okay, before I put my buttery sauce on there, I am going to put the broth. I'm using about a cup to start with and just drizzle it over evenly. And this is one case where you really can't say exactly how much it's going to take. And I can see already there's a lot of breadcrumbs that haven't been touched by the broth. So let's see if I add another 1/2 cup where the crumbs look really dry. And then I'm going to use my hands to feel that all of them have some broth on it. Celery and onions right down the middle. Now that's still pretty hot, so I'm going to use my spatula just to kind of cut that down into the dressing. Now when we're done with this, we can take a look and feel it. Now it's going to be cooling off as I go, making sure that it's completely stirred. It's ready to bake. Put it uncovered into the oven at 350 for about 20 to 25 minutes. If you're making it a day ahead, just put a cover on it, put it in the refrigerator. On the day you want to bake it, take it out of the refrigerator, uncover it, and let it set for about a 1/2 hour so it can come to room temperature before putting it in the oven. Bake as usual, uncovered, in 350 degrees for about 20 to 25 minutes until it looks golden brown. This is Lena Shea, an Iowa mom. Thanks for watching.